Hello guys and welcome to this Volks Wizard video. Now some of you may know from one of my earlier videos that I was very tempted by the Mk8 Golf R and nearly ordered one, but I was put off by having to wait 6 months for it. So I've ordered something else to arrive in March instead, which I will reveal in due course. However, I'm still really tempted by this car, and the fact it would arrive in the autumn would actually be quite a good thing because I've really enjoyed having an R through this winter and I wouldn't mind one again next winter. Now when that video drops, purely by coincidence, UK cars were arriving at dealerships, and it so happened I could actually go and buy an R that week from a UK dealer and have it straight away. But I'm not going to do that for two reasons. Because firstly, I convinced myself performance pack was essential, and unfortunately none of the UK cars have got that, and also the dealers are being very stubborn on their asking prices, which is very understandable because not every dealer has got a car. There are very few in the country and most of them have now actually been sold. However, the cars being here in the UK means I can come down to a dealership and have a good look at one and decide if it's actually the car for me. And what better place to come to than Crewe Volkswagen, which is part of the Swansway Group, where I collected my brand new Golf R estate just 2 months ago. So in this video, we're not going to actually drive the car, it's just a first look video. If you want to see a drive video, check out Jamie FYD's video, which dropped just now. I'll put a link in the description below. We're just going to have a real detailed look around the car and see if we can get excited enough to push that button. And while we're at it, we've also got this Mark 7.5 here, so we can compare the two and see if this is a marked improvement over the much loved older car. Okay guys, well I don't know about you, but I can't actually believe this car is physically here. It feels like I've been looking at the spy shots for years, and then it feels like the official launch was like years ago as well, but it's here. I can actually touch that famous badge that we saw in the preview shots back end of last year. And first impressions are that it looks good, as you'd probably expect. I think it would probably look better with the 19-inch wheels, but that's not really surprising. What is surprising is actually these standard 18s look pretty decent. They're not as offensive as the Richmond wheels that we have on the GTIs over there. They look pretty good, but the only problem is they just don't fill the arches. They're half an inch narrower than the 19s. That's the biggest problem. If they gave us half an inch wider 18s, I think that would be acceptable. You can see by looking at this 7.5 that these 19s that are 8 inches wide fill the arches much more convincingly. What is nice though is that we've finally got blue calipers now. This has been missing off the range for quite a while. Did the 6 have it? I'm not too sure, but we've never had it on the Mark 7, and come on, that does look pretty cool. Why they gave us black ones, I don't know. We've also got bigger brakes as well, so we've got 2-piece discs. I'm not too sure on the size, but these look like a serious piece of kit, well up to track days, when the ones on the 7.5 are not really well up to driving hard on the road, to be perfectly honest. So that is a good thing for sure, and it's a good indicator of where your money's gone, because they are a little bit more expensive, even allowing for inflation, but that is probably at least £1,000 worth of kit there. We've got body coloured side skirts, which originally the Mark 7 had, and then they vanished for the 7.5. They went to gloss black, but there's still a lot of gloss black. So we've got this diffuser at the back, which is seriously aggressive for a Volkswagen. I don't think I've seen one like that before. We've got a much thicker rim to the exhaust tips, which of course are the trademark for. A lot of you, I'm sure, will be glad that the Golf badge is missing on this R model, and it just says R in the middle, because putting it in the middle seems to upset a lot of people on the lower spec cars. There's R on these dagger badges here, which looks pretty good. And then at the front, well, it does look air hungry like a lot of the performance Golfs. So we've got a lot of gloss black at the front, which is markedly different to the GTIs, which are all black plastic. But if you had to replace this, I would imagine it's going to cost you a lot more than the plain black plastic on the GTIs. And making the R pretty distinctive is this kicked up section here, which helps you distinguish it from, say, a Club Sport. Now, on a black car, I think this would be a lot more subtle, and that's why black is actually the colour I'm most tempted with at the moment. We've got the light bar, which some people like, some people hate. Apparently you can deactivate it, but you've got to have it on the R. And we've got blue across the top of there, which runs into the headlight, into the LED Matrix IQ lights. I quite like the sculpting on the bonnet. That's pretty nice. Silver mirror casings, which I didn't see an option to change when I was configuring mine. Maybe that'll come in time, because It took a while for the black ones and the carbon ones to come on the Mark 7. This car's got 3 options then. So it's got the panoramic glass sunroof, which is £1,000, and is actually a different style to the one on the 7.5 because they're famous for cracking along the strips that run along the edge of the roof. This hasn't actually got those, so hopefully that will be more reliable. We've got dynamic chassis control, which is one of my favourite little options. That's £785. You can just about maybe see the plug in the back there. It's quite unusual for a car that's come into the dealer unordered, just supplied by Volkswagen in Germany, to have that option. So that's quite a good sign, I think, because it's always very hard to find them second hand. We've also of course got lapis blue paint, which is £755. So just 3 colours available. You can have pure white for free, you can have black as well for I think £575. And having seen more of these cars now in black, I actually could be tempted to pay that for it because they do look really mean. White's good, it's a very good low maintenance colour, it doesn't look bad, but I think the blacks actually look really stunning. I'm thinking lapis blue is looking a bit dated now. It's been around for 7 years and I'm not a big fan of it, to be perfectly honest. At the back, I'm pretty sure these lights are the same as on the GTI base and Club Sport. Normally the R has a darker rear light than the base GTI, and that's usually shared with the limited edition GTI. It's all a bit confusing as to whether Club Sport is actually the equivalent of the TCR or the old Club Sport, but basically all these cars now have got the same colour rear lights, which are already quite tinted. Okay, let's now have a look inside. This is the big thing with the Mark 8 and quite a big thing with the R as well, because there's quite a few changes. Now this is particularly interesting for me because I've recently given back an R line, and by looking at the photos it felt a little bit too similar to the R, especially considering that the R costs half as much again at £39,000. The R line was just 26. And yeah, well, let's keep on looking. I mean, the seats look pretty similar. Instead of having the sort of white or grey of the R line, we've got the blue, but I'm pretty sure they were part leather, pleather and Alcantara. I don't think they had the blue stitching or the blue piping, so this does look a little bit better. But actually, I'd be sorely tempted to buy the leather ones, which I saw in the Autogefühl video, because they look really, really nice. These are okay, but for a change, I think actually leather looks better. The door card looks pretty boring. Again, it's this area down here that looks a bit cheap. And if you order the Harman Kardon sound system, it doesn't actually change that, which is a bit disappointing. We've got this inlay here that's it's all right. It's nothing particularly special. The floor mats are pretty cool though. I'm trying to be positive. We've got, not only have we got blue piping, we've got blue stitching, we've even got this R logo, which I don't think I've seen before, so that's quite a nice touch. But that just, to me, points to the fact they're trying to distinguish this car, and they're really finding it hard to do that over the lesser models. Let's sit in and see if that changes. Hallelujah is all I can say, because there are 2 things here that do matter a lot. So for a start, we've got these paddles, and they are still plastic because really you don't want them embedded in your skull if they're metal, but they're all right. They're relatively tactile. I think they're a little bit better than the ones on my 7.5, but they do look cool. So you don't need to buy those Chinese extenders off eBay, people. And we've got the R button here, which switches through the modes, so you don't have to press that driving mode button there and crash while you do it. So yeah, but sitting here, apart from those 2 things, it is pretty much R-line. I think the steering wheel might be a little bit different. It's got a flat bottom and it's got these perforations. That's pretty cool. It's, you know, the problem with the R-line is so good. We've got electric folding mirrors, which have vanished off a few of the models in the Mark 8 range, but it's good to have those here. Well, I've got the key somewhere on me, so why don't we just start it? That's the first time, guys, I've ever started a Mark 8 Golf R. Okay, so we've got a more interesting display on here for sure. So we've got a rev counter actually in a row up there, which is pretty cool. And we've got boost pressure there. Nice, actually, yeah. I mean, the car can be made more interesting with the use of these displays. So let's see what else we've got. Press the home button on there. And let's try vehicle. Okay, well that wakes up. Let's have a, disappointing. That is not an R. Okay. not a good start. Yeah. Okay, well, this display looks better, so let's see what we've got here. Yep, not bad, not bad. Actually, sitting here, one of the most interesting things is that this car is throbbing. It sounds pretty harsh, which is good, really, because it means it's not a refined sort of, you know, normal car. It feels, yeah, a little bit fruity. Now, there is some fakery in here, which is, again, disappointing in a car like this. So I'm sure we'll be working out how to unplug and disconnect and disable all that stuff. Let's see what modes we've got anyway. Now, this car, because it's not got the performance pack, it doesn't have the special mode or the drift mode, which is a bit of a disappointment. I guess the reality is that that's not as important as having DCC, which we have got. So when we've got this multi-adjustable thing, which I've seen before on the Arto, I've never seen it on a Golf before, but that's pretty cool. I mean, look, you can go beyond race and you can go beyond comfort. So it's so cheap, under £800, and now it's much more adjustable. I think it's got to be a must-have option, I think. And you can also, oh wow, that is very interesting then. So I'm hoping, yeah, pure means pure. We don't have any fakery. That is a good thing, people. Sunroof then, a nice option, £1,000. You can operate it with the slide of your finger somehow. I've never done this before. Oh, yeah. That's actually pretty cool. I know a lot of people hate the tech in this car, but that's pretty cool. I mean, you don't use it very often, but it's definitely easier to use than the buttons. Yeah, that's a nice touch. So I think it just about gets away with the interior. So we've got the paddles, we've got the R button on the steering wheel, and we've got the unique displays on the digital instrument cluster. That one looks particularly cool there with that funny rev counter. Okay, let's have a look in the boot. I'm not going to test rear space because it's just the same as every other Golf, and I don't want to make this car dirty or contaminate it with my, you know, stuff, because Swansway Group are very, very good when it comes to COVID. So if you want to buy a car COVID securely, you should come here. This car is going to be sanitized using some special process after I've been in it, just to make sure I don't spread it to anybody else. So yeah, very good. And this site's actually locked up, and if you want to see a car, you can come and have a look, but you can't actually go in the showroom. So yeah, they're doing a good job here. Right, let's have a look in the boot. That wasn't me. I don't know what it's just done then. It's just showing off. It's like Herbie. Okay, in the boot, it's in the lower setting now. This looks pretty similar until you lift this up, and then you realise there's no spare wheel in there because it's an option. So you could probably fit one, but you don't get it as standard. That's the same across all the Mark 8s. But I think boot space is the same as the old R, so a little bit less than it would be in a GTI, which is two-wheel drive. And that's the boot opener, so that stays the same as it did on the older car. Let's just have a look at the back then. So you've got this interesting sort of blue fake leather on the headrest. Have we got the hollow section here? Yeah, it's got this really weird bit there that's got nothing in it, same as on the R line. It smells actually really nice. I know it's a brand new car, but it smells quite pleasant. And then we've got the 3-zone climate on the back there, which is good. That means you've got voice control for the climates up front. Let's now have a look under the bonnet. I'll just turn it off. So yeah, I know there's no telescopic struts. That's unfortunate, but there's not much we can do about it. So once again, we have an unbranded engine cover on this EA888 Evo 4 engine. We have, though, more importantly, 320 metric horsepower and 420 Newton metres of torque, which is pretty good going. They're probably going to be higher than that, I bet, when they get dynoed. But yeah, dynamically, I'm pretty sure this car is going to be pretty awesome. Unfortunately, though, unlike with some of my other videos, I'm not going to hop in the car and give it a good thrashing on some country roads we'll do that another time. If you're a retailer, you've got an R registered now with over 500 miles on the clock, so it's at least partly running, then get in touch. I'd love to come to your place and do a video on that car where I can drive it. For now, all we can do is listen to the exhaust, which is a first for me, I think, anyway. So yeah, let's get it fired up and have a listen to see what it sounds like. Okay, well, it's been an unexpectedly interesting day here at Crewe Volkswagen. I didn't think I was going to learn an awful lot just coming and looking at the Mk8 Golf R, but I have, and I hope you guys have too, because it's made my decision whether or not to order one a lot easier, which we'll come to shortly. One of the most important things I've learned today, though, is that whilst the 7.5R is undoubtedly a wonderful looking car, it does look a bit dated compared to the new model, and that doesn't actually surprise me, because I've been driving Mk8s now since June last year, and every time I've seen one they look better and better. And a lapis blue R, I think most people will find that quite a good looking car. Even from the side and the back, it all hangs together pretty well, and will do so even more when it's fitted with some nice 19-inch wheels. So am I going to order one or not? Yes, I actually think I am. I'm going to go home and sleep on it, but I think if I had one of these in black, it would look quite subtle but also look quite good. Okay, it's going to be quite high maintenance, but we can have the front end PPF'd, we can put ceramic coating on it, we can make it a bit easier to live with than my lapis blue one was when I bought that back in 2014, brand new. So yeah, as I said, it's been an interesting day. I'm still not going to be too disappointed to go home and drive my Mark 7.5 Golf R estate, which is over in the car park over there, but I will look forward to this coming at some point in the autumn, probably fit some Goodyear all-season tyres to it, and that will be my motoring sorted for the next 12 months at least. But before that comes, obviously we've got a new car coming to the channel in March, so stay tuned for that. I'll reveal more about that in due course. And I'd just like to say, this is an unsponsored video, so if you want to support the channel, please buy the Volkswagen 2021 calendar. I put a link in the description below. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this Volkswagen video, and big thanks also to Swansway Garages and Crewe Volkswagen for having me along today. If you've enjoyed this video, as ever, please give it a thumbs up, please do comment, please do share, and please subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one really soon.